Hey everyone, how's it going? Today is going to be a pre-recorded stream just because I have some, just a lot to do. I guess I underestimated Sunday today. And yeah, I hope it's not too big of a problem. It's only like an hour before my stream would go live typically. But anyways, without further ado, this is going to be a crypto overview analysis of everything in the markets. And really quickly, I am going to be focusing on, this scenario. This is still my primary scenario right now on the higher time frame on Bitcoin. Again, just to recap, just saying that this is officially like a top in the market this year, and from here on outwards, here onwards, yeah, we're going to be seeing a decline in price down to below $10,000 to around $8,000 area before coming up to our next, cycle move up to potentially take out these relatively equal highs over here before moving down further, or potentially going up to all-time highs. We'll have to see when we get there. But for now, this is my primary count at the moment. I can't see anything else, to be honest. But anyways, just to go over the lower time frame for a minute to kind of recap what I went over last week. So essentially last week I was pretty much looking at this range over here where I simply drew this out. We had this sideways movement, like so. And I pretty much said to everyone, I was like, okay, I wouldn't really take the short right off the bat. I would wait for some kind of re-entry into the range, something that looks along the lines of this, where we look for a short trade on this retouch before moving down. And then the short position would look something like this, where you'd short the high of the range and put your stop loss at wherever the high would be before moving down further. So we got the move up, we got the move down, but we never really got that retest of the range highs at the moment. So in case you guys are thinking, oh, we got front run, or we just missed the trade or whatever it is, I would not throw the possibility of us coming all the way back up to 27,000 off the table, or to at least the high of the range. At the moment, the way I'm seeing this, this move down in general is something along the lines of this, where it's like we got our 1, 2, we got our 3, 4, and then 5 to create like this wave 1 move, and then we got our 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have a potentially truncated wave 5. The reason why I say it could be truncated wave 5 is just because this looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like a completed impulse, but it just never took out the lows. We actually did take out the lows on other exchanges. We took out the lows on Bitstamp, which I'll show you guys how that looks like over here. So on Bitstamp, it's a completely different chart. We essentially took it out. If I just highlight it over here, and it would really be classified as a truncated wave 5 on this chart over here. But unfortunately, different exchanges means different price actions just because of liquidity. So anyways, just to move on, a truncated / potentially not truncated wave 5, depending on how you want to look at it. And now we're going to see some more consolidation. That consolidation before the next move down could be coming up to 27,000 liquidity. The reason why I say that we could come to 27,000 liquidity is because we have a couple of things. Number one, we have this big imbalance to fill. We also have this fair value gap over here, which comes at around the $27,000 liquidity zone. We also have some fibs to look out for. Make sure I'm not in log, no. We have this lower end of the fib to look out for. And we don't have to necessarily come all the way up to this fair value gap. We could just come up to this lower end over here of the range high before seeing a move down. Another scenario that I'm looking at is if we just continue ranging here sideways until Monday, then we could simply look at something like this, where we range sideways, build up a lot of liquidity just here locally, and then all we do is come up to $26,000 before moving down further to at least taking out these lows down here at around 25,100. So at the moment, these are kind of the only two levels that I'm looking at. I would really, really like to see a move up to the range highs again, just because I feel like there was a lot of liquidity left behind over here. But it could be the simple case of just rejecting up at 26,000 before moving lower. Now, there's two ways to play this, just to map it out so it's not too confusing. Number one is, again, I would say Monday. If this happens today, where we come up to point of control, not valid trade. I would not take a trade today. I would say wait until tomorrow before potentially taking a short position on these highs. Stop loss would be at this high over here. And then you can say to yourself, okay, I want to take it down to this low over at, you could even say $25,000 liquidity over here for a quick little trade. Or it could be the scenario where we just come up all the way to either the range high or the fair value gap zone before taking a move down to 25. I would personally even look a little bit lower. I would look to at least these lows over here on the left. So around 24,800 and potentially even further down. I would recommend if this trade does pull through and happen, then I would personally be taking out anywhere between 50% to 75% of my original position size, and then you can leave the rest to just run lower and lower and lower. So that's how I'm gonna play it. Over here, these are kind of the only levels I have to say of interest. There isn't really much else to look at. I kind of want to look at Ethereum just to see if there's any similarities, I guess. Let me just double check. With Ethereum, it's a bit slightly different in terms of the range and where the highs and lows are. Something like this. You can see like this middle of the range has been prospected quite well. Support and resistances. There's been a lot of battles between here, but anyways, pretty much the same thing. Let me check where the fair value gap is here on the high of the range. So around $1,700 to come up and fill up that fair value gap. I would much prefer if, let's say, Ethereum came up to the high of the range and also Bitcoin came up to the high of the range. The reason why is because we have $1,700 liquidity, and on Bitcoin, parallel, we also have $2,700 liquidity. So we'd be wiping out liquidity on both ends, on both Ethereum and Bitcoin at the same time. And to be honest, it just offers the better trade rather than taking something all the way down here with a small stop loss. This just offers, I guess, the higher reward with slightly more risk, I suppose. But in general, the risk reward ratio is still kind of balances itself out just because you're gaining more out of this trade as well. So I'll be waiting for these levels, basically just a return to the range highs on both assets. And to be honest, that's all I'm really looking at here on the lower time frame. I can't really say I'm looking for anything else at the moment. It just seems, it's just a weekend range right now. We haven't really done much here. We've taken out the liquidity, and now it's just a matter of seeing will that continue. I really want to just take a look at the weekly candle. So yeah, I mean the weekly candle also looks a little bit bearish, just because we've had like a really really clean swing high. So that means when the next weekly candle opens, we could see a rapid move up before a massive retrace to complete that swing high, where it's like a low, a high, and then a low to create like this kind of like, head and shoulders type of movement, which is, which forms the swing high move or swing low on the other way around. So that's all I'm really looking for. At the moment, I can't really say I'm looking for anything else. That I don't really see any long trades for Ethereum or for Bitcoin locally. I would really just like to see this move up happen to then potentially take a nice little short. Another asset that I was kind of looking at is, well, I was requested this asset by Michael, is Unfi. I don't know how to say it, to be honest, all that much. But basically, all I was looking at was kind of like a move up to take out this high over here. Let me mark this out. And then we had some fibs. Mark it out like this, TE. Let me just go down and check out the daily. We also had this fair value gap or imbalance zone to look at down here. So yeah, at the moment, all we did was just come up and take out this high. But in the time where Bitcoin and Ethereum could come up and make their lower highs, I could see Unfi, however you want to spell it or say it, could come up and take out this 0.702 fib coming above $10. We still haven't taken out $10 on Bybit. And then potentially seeing a move down all the way to the range lows over here. So something like this. So you could count this as liquidity, and the other end is liquidity as well, just to mark it out. So I would look at it like this, where we could potentially see so if you are in any buys, this would be a good place. Even where we are right now is a very, very good place to take some profits and kind of wait to see if there's a potential short that could come up. Now, this is quite a come down to $2. Let me just quickly check something on the monthly candle. Okay. Then the next weekly open, see a swing high form. Yeah, I like this idea a lot, but it's just uh, with a coin like this, we could see it kind of like break this order block and then retrace. It's a little bit difficult sometimes with these more super high volume coins. But I think overall, this is definitely something I'm interested in. $2, yeah. It just looks super clean to me. I'm just gonna quickly check. I want to check the other exchanges as well, see if there's any similarities. I always want to check for pretty much exact similarities on other on the other exchanges, I mean. Binance has already taken out $10, but I wouldn't really pay attention to it too much. Let's see. Yeah, I mean coming all the way down to take out all this liquidity next would be pretty crazy. See where we are here on really close to that 0.702 on Binance. I mean, I would say there's a very high chance that we just come up one more time for a swing failure pattern before moving down. I'm really liking this idea. It's just a matter of not getting in too early. And also because this is such a large percentage move, you want to treat it kind of like a spot movement where you don't want to go crazy with the leverage. If you do want to go crazy with the leverage, then obviously this isn't the exact trade idea for you because this is kind of a wide range right now. So, it's going to pretty much liquidate you or, put you down heavy if you're trading leverage with a decent amount. So just be careful. Tread lightly. I would say I'm still waiting for one last swing failure pattern of the highs on both Binance and Bybit before moving down lower, $2 at the very minimum. So it's very interesting coin. Also, I'm looking at Ape. In my opinion, Ape is actually like coming down to a potentially really nice buy zone where you could just start buying spot, in my opinion. And basically, if you guys want to see why I marked all this out, I'll do that now in just a second. So first of all, just typically what I noticed is that these all-time lows on a lot of exchanges just get taken out, and they sometimes offer nice buying opportunities. So taking out the all-time low on Binance, pretty much where it just started, taking out $1 liquidity would be pretty crazy. I would just expect a lot of people to just get completely wiped out of Ape at that point, and then it just offers a nice opportunity to just start buying in. So I would literally wait for below $1 on Ape. And then the reason why I marked out those upper levels, if I just actually start on the higher time frame, well, number one is we have this massive order block on the monthly up here. If you come down to the daily, because we were just on the weekly, you can see we have this order block up here, this last up close candle before the impulsive move down. So I just like to refine it down to this. Not only that, but also we also have these series of lower highs, relatively equal highs, forming like a trend line right here. So you can say to yourself, it's kind of like making this descending wedge where we could see fake out from. If we haven't already, actually, let me check. So we're already kind of like, breaking below this wedge. So I'd imagine a lot of people are, not doing too well. A lot of people who might have invested in this are like probably selling out of their positions. They think this coin is dead. And I actually see a really nice buying opportunity coming up below $1. I would say just as a spot opportunity. And I'm looking at a minimum target of coming up above these highs over here. So it would look something like this. If you're buying spot, let's say you buy below $1, 0.9, you're looking at a 700% move. And then, yeah, again, this is just spot. I would recommend buying spot. And to me, I'm not really fixated on stop loss, just because this is a no leverage trade, zero leverage trade. Like literally, do not. I like not financial advice or anything, but if you really feel the need to leverage a 700% move potential, then you're a bit crazy, especially when you could be wiped out of the trade before it even happens. So yeah, I see a really, really nice buying opportunity. I see a really nice opportunity to come up to, even if we come to like this high over here, that's still, 600% move to wipe out this liquidity. But I would really, really, really like something, it doesn't have to come up to this order block, but just coming up to this high would be extremely, extremely, extremely nice. I think this is going to be one of the better opportunities coming up pretty soon. So let's just see how we do below $1. This is one of those things where you don't have to go all in at $1. I don't recommend going all in general, anyways. But you could just start, buying a couple coins here, and then wait to see some kind of bounce, and then buy a little bit more once you're comfortable that you think an absolute low has been made. You could, let's say buy 25% to 50% of what you initially wanted to put in, and then put in the other 50%, well, the remaining percentage of whatever you decide to put in once the bounce happens and once we get above $1 again. So, Ape looking really, really nice. Yeah, I would say wait for that. And to be honest, any other coins? I was looking at Gala. Gala, just I don't really. Let me actually check another. I don't really see anything too. I don't see anything that strikes any confidence for Gala. I mean, all we could do is come down and swing failure pattern these lows over here. But even then, I would say I'm not really liking it all that much at the moment. It could offer a nice buying opportunity below here, and then pretty much the same thing. Similar idea to what I had with Ape, where essentially all I'm looking at is something like this. We have these relatively equal highs up here, where there could be a lot of liquidity. And then you could look to take your first target up to 0.06, all the way up to, the zero point 0.1 liquidity zone, taking out these equal highs over here, essentially is what I'm looking at. So yeah, this is also very, very nice, but I do prefer Ape at the moment and how it looks. Um, but they look pretty similar in a way, just because we have similar equal highs, we have similar idea of taking out the absolute lows, coming down below 0.1, well, $0.01, take out all that liquidity before moving up again to $0.1, which is mad, which is actually pretty crazy. I do see a lot of nice opportunities coming up, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. What does that mean for Bitcoin? What does that mean for Ethereum? To be honest, with Bitcoin and Ethereum, I don't see a move up like this anytime soon. I think potentially the alts are gonna have their run, and then we're gonna see some kind of like, just really, really big differences between the two. How that'll happen or when that'll happen is kind of up in the air at the moment. All I know is, let's say you're bearish on Bitcoin right now, I wouldn't necessarily be bearish on Ape or Gala, or just alts in general. I would just stick to, taking your trades on Bitcoin and Ethereum and leaving it at that. Don't try to over diversify these trades. Just stick to, the simple ones. And if you want to like buy spot, wait for the opportunities that I just showed on Ape and potentially Gala. I would say Ape more likely than Gala, and see from there. So that's all I'm really looking at the moment. I hope it's been clear. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next stream. I am actually working on some beginners content soon as well. If this all seems a bit too confusing for some of you guys, I am going to be making analysis streams, and I'm also going to be focusing on beginners content very, very soon, as a nice little mix. So yeah. Anyways, if you have any questions, feel free to send them in the chat, and I will see you guys later. Bye bye.